Okay, well, here we are with Jamie Hosking again for what I hope, well, I shouldn't say I hope, it's been a pleasure, but it's probably our last conversation in the journey to become an online entrepreneur, whether you're moving your brick and mortar business to offer an online shopping experience because curbside has, has been part of the reality over the past few months, or whether you've seen that there's been an opportunity there that you can capture. Maybe you're even doing it on a short-term basis. Anyway, the last conversation we wanted to talk about was, and how is that working for you? And whether or not there's any advice we can give in advance for people who have kind of are ready to flip the switch on this, and what could happen, what could go wrong.
Right.
Or what could go right? Like what are some of the, worst case, bad case scenarios? What can we do to kind of get people excited and also moving forward with caution?
Yeah, well, of course, as with any endeavor, you should evaluate what you've done once you've launched something to see what's worked and what hasn't worked. And whether that means just reaching out to your customers and asking them simple questions about what they've liked about the experience, what they don't like, what they'd like to see in the future. That's really my favorite way of doing it. It could be in the form of online surveys or any number of different ways to do it. But evaluation is key because, as I've been suggesting throughout all of these talks, a lot of these opportunities, a lot of these ways of doing things, ways to promote your business, ways to get online are low cost or even free. Certainly, at the beginning, the social media channels are free. Or very, very low cost. So you can try a lot. And I highly suggest trying as much as you think might work, whether you think you might be good at it or not. Dip your toes in it, see what the water is like, and then reflect on whether it was something that worked for you or whether it didn't. Give it a chance too. But
that's a good point. How long should I wait to see results? Like if I join the gym and never go, I'm probably never going to see anything. But if I go for 2 weeks, the difference between 2 weeks and 6 weeks, if I'm consistent with that, is going to be significantly different.
Yeah. And here's where I say most people are going to be impatient. I really do believe this. You've got to give it some time. You're growing something from nothing. Or if you have a reputation, you've already got a website, that's different. But if it's an online store, it's a new process, it's a new endeavor, and you're spreading the word about it, especially now where organic traditional foot traffic might not be what it used to be, or your business overall might not be what it used to be. You're not going to get engagements in every way as much as before. So trying all of these different things, whether they're no cost or low cost, is key. And then looking back at them, see what's worked, but really, really have a long game about this. Really look at it from a nice high level and be patient. These things do grow organically like a snowball, and once they get rolling, they go rolling well. But they have to germinate, and they have to have some time to start and get working for you. You have to keep at it. You can't just post 1 or 2 or 3 things for a couple of weeks and then go, well, what happened? I've done the work. Now what? I'm not getting results. You have to keep at it and have faith that it's going to work, because we've seen the evidence. We've seen countless businesses from Amazon all the way down. Amazon Amazon built its entire business on Google Ads. That's all that they did, really. And
isn't that interesting?
To get to a scale before anybody else was really doing it, before anybody else had data.
Well, I wonder if the 90-day free version of Shopify has anything to do with kind of what they anticipate the timeline to be before you're finding success. Because
absolutely. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm actually just curious, because we were talking about that 8 minutes and 30 seconds with the YouTube kind of videos earlier, and how there might be a bit of a magic formula there for them to have decided. I know that when we post them, they tell us that 3 minutes. So I'm just curious if maybe they've determined that if somebody does all the right things when they're setting up their business, uses all the social marketing channels that they're supposed to, that by 90 days, you've determined this product is actually working for you. But a 30-day trial wouldn't show you, and a 60-day trial wouldn't show you.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if that wasn't the case. These guys know what they're doing, and I'm sure they've done the research. And of course, lowering the barrier to entry for that, even though it's not a huge cost. I mean, that's $75 for the 3 months, or $90, whatever it ends up being in Canadian dollars. I'm
Right.
not quite sure what it pans out to be in savings. But combine, and again, I'm gonna shill Shop Here for a second. Combined with the other opportunities that Shop Here is offering, and this is what we're talking about. Shop Here, part of Digital Main Street, has teamed
Hmm.
up with Google, Facebook, and Shopify to offer. By the way, also too with Shop Here is the Google ad credit and the Facebook ad credit and so on. But the Shopify promotion is for that uh, first 3 months at no cost. Uh, for both of those things, to eliminate the cost of entry, monetarily, but also to allow you to get that runway and to hopefully be patient and see those results at the end of those 90 days. And I'm hoping that throughout that process, they're emphasizing patience, and they're emphasizing that this is an organic
Right.
growth situation. And the more you do this work, this is scalable. So,
Right.
if you can post twice a day instead of once a day, if you can get online and respond to comments, you respond to 10 comments instead of 5 a day.
Hmm.
Or if you do that online work, that is just work. You will see that growth faster. It is an equation. It's
Right.
still an equation. Work equals output kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but
worst nightmare.
hmm,
What
the
would be
wor-
the
worst
worst?
night the worst nightmare is that it's just not working for you. Um, Whether it be that you've not made a connection somewhere, or your service or your offering or your product just isn't engaging with customers. Um, I don't know that you could ever get to that point if you have followed what we've been talking about throughout this series, or that if you've taken the time and effort to go through even the most basic of
Right.
plans when it comes to
Right.
marketing and getting a business online.
Right. So your
Um,
target marketing and making sure that you know where your customer lives and how you can reach them and let them know
yeah.
that you are now available in a space where they can find you virtually.
And because it's online and you're competing with all kinds of different brands, both global and local, I do have to say that using a platform like Shopify, where you're going to get a store that looks good out of the box,
Hmm.
that you get to choose what it looks like, and the theme, and to tailor it yourself. There's really not much you can do on there to make it look bad. They kind of prevent you from doing that. No garish, no garish typefaces or anything else. Um,
Just because you
so
can doesn't mean you should. That's the story about clip art, right?
right, exactly right. But knowing that you're going to get a good looking store that's going to rival the look and feel of the biggest competitors is a huge step.
Hmm.
Um, because otherwise you might be going with the good faith or the reputation of others, or you might not even get that far. It's easy to get the Shopify thing going. You can do it yourself. If you don't want to go that route, and you've got the budget to have somebody help you with it and go with it, that is another opportunity in itself, that has its own challenges as well. But know that you don't have to have a huge budget to compete and to look good and to
Right.
have a good presence online.
Right. And again, for this kind of environment where if you really are hoping that once the restrictions have been lifted and people can kind of come in, more people can come into your store and people are starting to move around again, that you may not want to stay in that space. Though I've been hearing from a lot of people who have moved into that, they're not unhappy.
Yeah, like I mean, because of its low cost, there's no reason really to not do both, unless you find it
Mhm.
a huge hassle,
Right.
or you're just not able to scale to a point that sustains that. Or your reasons are your own, but
Sure.
yeah, there are a few reasons not to continue to do it. You're absolutely right.
Right.
If it's a matter of it's too much work, maybe you want to scale back what you're offering and make it
Hmm.
just select items.
Sure.
If you're having issues with fulfillment, maybe do a little research and see how you might be able to simplify that, or
Hmm.
pass off fulfillment to somebody else, or partner with somebody else.
Right.
That's another thing we haven't really touched on a lot, but you might be able to partner up with a related business for cross promotion and
Hmm.
creating content, and merging in some other ways to get really creative about it.
Mhm.
It's such a great opportunity. I keep saying this to the people that contact the Belleville e-commerce assistance program. My grandfather never had an opportunity like this. If he wanted to start a business, he needed to lease a building or buy a building, get the permits, buy the furniture, have the capital, get a loan, probably hire employees, get and that's even before making $1 in sales, and then put up your shingle and hope people walk through the door for
Yes.
any business, really. You don't have to do that with just about anything right now. I'm helping personal support workers with their business online. I'm helping restaurants. I'm helping writers. Who are selling their work online, their
Right.
written work as a digital download.
Mhm.
It's amazing what you can do,
Right.
and what you could do in addition to what you're already doing if you're already established.
Right. No, it's very fair. Absolutely. And I mean, even if it doesn't mean the end, if the only outstanding piece is that paying online part, um, you know, putting your product out there so people can see it on a regular basis when they can't come into the store and shop. I mean, I'm a real local shopper. I don't buy online, but I also really like touching things. Though I have been tempted to go to the store by seeing something in a picture online. And that's what
Right.
gets me on there. Yeah. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's what gets me in the store because I
Yeah.
don't.
Customers may not know what you have to offer, or that you have a particular thing or a particular service, and it's
Mhm.
another way to communicate that to potential customers and, of course, existing customers. And that you touched on something that reminds me of something as well that we're seeing now that wasn't a thing before COVID-19. You don't necessarily have to do just shipping, mail or courier shipping. You could have front door pickup. So you
Right.
could have the transaction go and then have just your customer show up in the parking lot and bring it out to them, or have
Sure.
it available in store for pickup. Walmart.ca, they don't do shipping. They don't ship their products. I don't believe so.
Right.
I could be wrong. Oh
I
no,
think
sorry, they
you,
don't.
but
They
you
just
can do
in-store
in-store
pickup.
pickup now for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well,
So
and it's funny that you talk about that delivery. I'm going to do a little bit of an aside. I can remember when I was a little kid in the 70s and the grocery store would deliver on the farm. And so it's just interesting, like what's old is new again. And this idea of being able to find people in their homes and help people in the homes and connect people with your product by just amping up the service. How they find it's changed a little bit, but boy, we all grew up with the Sears catalog and consumers distributing. Like it's not
yeah,
different.
I was a nerd. I think I slept with the Radio Shack catalog quite a bit. Yeah. I was a big fan
Well,
of the Radio
the
Shack.
Sears catalog, the Christmas catalog would be coming out about now, and we would have
Oh
been so
yeah,
excited,
yeah.
right?
Find that
Yeah.
toy section. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it took me years to realize that there was more than just toys in that thing.
Yeah, yeah. Damn appliances. Where are the Star Wars figures? Yeah.
Yes,
That
exactly.
would be me.
I don't need all those $5, $10 gifts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, no, that's great. So I don't know if there's anything else you think we should share at this point. This one has probably been a little bit briefer, but I think,
Well, I just wanted to emphasize that a lot of what we talked about may sound, self-evident, or it may sound like, oh, well, that sounds simple. I can do that. But don't be concerned if you do end up feeling a little daunted by it or a little intimidated by it. Certainly, I am here to help as part of the Belleville e-commerce assistance program. I am a no-cost service to small businesses, home-based businesses, artists, craftspeople. I know upcoming, I believe we'll be doing some work with the Quinte Arts Council,
great.
so that'll be great. But if you have a business, or you're looking to start a business, or it's a home-based business and you're looking to move that online, I can certainly help. So reach out and contact me at info@bellevilleecommerceassistance.ca, or you can find Belleville e-commerce assistance program on the internet. We have a website, and also on Facebook. So I'm available to answer questions you can just dash me off an email if you have one or two quick questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Plus, I have a vast library of resources that I've collected over years, literally, on all kinds of different related subjects: online marketing, branding, of course, e-commerce, web development, and everything in between, video production, YouTube, social media, and everything in between. So
Sure.
if I don't have the answer off the top of my head, I can absolutely find it for you.
Right. One quick question, because we've not talked about it much, but it is also part of the resources. We did talk a little bit offline about the idea that there are a ton of resources out there available now, and Digital Main Street, and there's money for that for people, and you can help guide people towards that space if that seems like a good solution. But there are some other ways for that to happen. I know if you're a downtown business, you can reach out to the BDIA and they bring, or the Downtown District BIA, and they bring you to this digital squad team, and they'll kind of review what you have already, kind of doing what you're doing. But then there's also some grant money available for that.
Yeah, we're all working practically with Digital Main Street, which has been an online platform that is a nonprofit group with government support, both the government of Canada and the province of Ontario. Started off in Ontario and became a national program. This started before the pandemic, but not long before. Well, actually, no, about a year before. I remember originally getting notices for it, but became really vital when the pandemic happened. And they expanded their service with Shop Here, partnering with Google, with Facebook, with Shopify. So Shop Here is the key program there, which helps you get that online store. They're offering discounts on online advertising, but separate from that is the Digital Transformation Grant, which is a grant of up to $2,500 to help create or enhance or improve your website, online store, and your e-commerce efforts. There's an application process. You do have to be a registered business, of course. You do have to be a small business, so there are some parameters. You can't be a franchise. You can't be a large corporation. I believe you have to be under 10 or under employees, I believe the parameters are. And it is part of Digital Main Street, so you have to be within kind of a downtown area, I believe. There is
that parameter is, I think, a kilometer within a C1 zone.
There you go.
C1 or C2 zone, yes. So it really did capture downtowns automatically, but I would be hard pressed to think of a business in Belleville that wouldn't fit that category.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So this is a great opportunity. I know of at least 2 businesses already that have received this grant and are putting it to good use to enhance what they're doing online, to improve their websites, to pay for everything from photography of their products to marketing agencies to help them develop planning and really anything related. It is a great resource. It is a limited time resource. This is not something that's permanent. So take advantage of it while you can. Take advantage of me while you can, because I'm limited time. And take advantage of Digital Main Street while you can. We have received word that it is going to be funded through to, I believe, the spring.
I think March 31st, but
yeah. But I wouldn't hold my breath beyond that. So do it now. Do it now while the iron's hot, kind of thing. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, well, thank you, Jamie, for all your time and what you've offered
Jill.
Our members and anybody else who's been able to tune in. We'll be leaving these online for a while because I don't think that most of the information we've provided, with the exception of maybe those programs that are available right now, but I think most of the information we've provided is common sense around marketing, developing your marketing strategy, understanding where your customer lives, and just taking that to an online environment.
Yeah, it really is just a translation of tried and true practice just on new platforms. And again, I don't really care where it goes. I just want to know what has people's attention. And then that's where I want to focus all of my effort. And right now it's online.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Thank you, Jill.